How's it going, YouTube, and welcome back, agents. Today's simulation is a game of Deathmatch on the New York Brewery, which just so happens to be my final Assassin's Creed 3 video. Now, as you can see in this lobby, we're playing a bunch of whole low levels. Well, I get a new high score in this, and how else do you get a high score but playing against low levels? And using an animus hack, which I will talk about later. But I wanted to use this video as kind of a review of Assassin's Creed 3 over these past 12 months. There's a couple of reasons that I want to discuss, and reasons why I feel that the game has not reached its full potential. So I guess let's get straight into it. The first reason, and it should be the most obvious reason, is the reverse drop stun. Now, if you don't know what the reverse drop stun is, where have you been for 12 months? Have you been hiding under a rock or something? So, the reverse drop stun is, is a term coined from the changes that the developers made to an exploit that was discovered in the ACR. So, in ACR, you could lure somebody to jump off a roof at you, and then you could stun them once they hit the floor, because once they hit the floor, there was a certain period of time, let's say 20 to 30 frames, that they couldn't interact with you or do anything. So that was a quick window where you could get a stun. Now, in my opinion, if they were stupid enough to jump off the roof at you, then it was their own dumb fault for getting stunned, you know? But what did the developers and Ubisoft as a whole decide to do to combat this? Or how did this come about? Well, a whole bunch of whiny bitches in AC3 decided to go on the forums and complain about it. And the developers decided to incorporate some changes in one of the first patches. And what they did was they basically reversed it, which coined the term reverse drop stun. So what they did was, if you jumped off a roof, they deemed you vulnerable, and basically they made you invincible for 30 to 40 frames. So once you hit the floor, the person on the ground couldn't interact with you for however many frames. I don't know the exact number of frames, and I don't give a shit, to be honest. The fact that they put this in there is reason enough. So that brought about a whole bunch of crap, which brings the game down in my overall estimations. In the first video, in my first AC3 video, I said that I felt AC3 was 9 out of 10. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to drop that to a good 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 at maximum. And all of these reasons that I'm going to discuss in this video are reasons why. So the first one being the reverse drop stun, because let's face it, players are going to exploit the game in any way they see fit, because that's how people play games these days. They're all about having an advantage over everybody else. And the second reason is that incident right there, the whole poison stun bullshit. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about is once you poison somebody, for at least 50% of the activation time of that ability, you can still be stunned. Even though you've poisoned them and they are effectively dead, they can still stun you. Well, back in ACR, this was the same, and they decided to patch it so that once you poison somebody, they couldn't interact with you. But That didn't carry over to AC3, and I don't know whether this was overlooked or missed by the dev team or what, but it seems like they didn't give a fuck, because there was no changes to implement it to how it should be, or how it was in the second half of ACR. So either people just didn't complain about it, or or the devs didn't give a fuck. So that's just another reason. Then my next reason is very, very common in this game, and that is the knife sprint kill. Now, all of you should be aware of what this is. So anybody, regardless of whether they're new to the game or not, can throw their knives at you. The knives being a third ability, which the developers decided to introduce because they thought, well, 2 abilities is just not enough. Someone can deploy their knives and throw them at you from wherever they want across the map, and 90% of the time they will run straight at you. Now, if you don't have an ability to defend against that, you've got no chance whatsoever. You are dead. Okay? Now you might think, well, what does that really matter? They're only going to get 100 points. Well, no, because this can lead to streak bonuses. This can lead to greater variety, extreme variety, and it's just not how people should be playing this fucking game. I mean, I've posted enough AC videos, and I've played enough Assassin's Creed over all 3 iterations of the multiplayer to know the best way to play this game, but it seems like newer players just don't give a fuck anymore. Neither do the development team. They're like, it seems like the dev team have gotten worse at this game, and they've implemented changes to make the game easier for themselves to play against those that have gotten fucking beast at it. And I'm not going to include myself in that category because I know I'm nowhere near the best at this game. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked now. The next reason why this game has gone down in my overall estimations is when you get pulled out of your animation. So, for example, you go hop in a blend group, you build up an incognito, you even go for a cheeky focus on your target, and you press the kill button. But at the exact same time, your target is pressing the action button to interact with either another pursuer or their own target. Well, the game deems this action priority over your action, even though you've pressed it slightly before they've pressed their own. So, with the game deeming this a priority action, it nullifies your action and you get pulled out of your animation. You don't get queued like you did in ACR, which is what should happen, because let's face it, you've pressed your action button and the action should get completed. But you get pulled out of your animation and you have to start all over again. So this can lead to its own controversy in many different ways, and one of those ways would be you get pulled out of your animation, your own pursuer is right on top of you, and you get killed, and you end up dead on the ground, drooling foam. And you know, it's like, why should that be happening? Right? I pressed my action button to complete an action on my target. That action should follow through, and I should get my however many points it is. But the developers didn't seem to address this issue at all in any of their patch notes released for the patches that they introduced to this game. So again, it's almost like they just don't give a fuck, and that they think that any way that makes this game easier for them to play is a good thing, or a good way. But enough about me ranting. I want to talk about Animus Hack. Now, you will have seen me use Animus Hack in a number of my Deathmatch videos, and I only ever use it in Deathmatch. And the reason I only ever use it in Deathmatch is because the maps are pretty small, too small in my opinion, which means that the players are all bunched together, which makes it a more viable kill streak to actually use and get good points with. The reason why I use Animus Hack is because I think it's fun to use it. I mean, it's fun to hack the Animus and to be able to kill your pursuers. What I don't agree with is the attributes on attaining the Animus Hack. Now, this kill streak was available in ACR, and in ACR it was a chain of 9 kills, with or without kill buffer. But in AC3 they decided to make it easier, where have we heard this before, to get. So they dropped it down to 8 kills. Now in my personal opinion, with the changes to the score attributes as well, so for example if you get two kills with your Animus kill streak you get 200 points. So with those changes they should have thought that it was going to be a more viable kill streak and more people are going to want to use it, so they should have made it harder to get. And in my opinion it should have been 10 kills, maybe even 12 kills, because let's face it, the number of points that you can get out of it is ridiculous. I mean, you've seen yourself in this video, I think I've hit it twice, and the maximum number of Animus hacks that I've ever reached is Animus hack 900 points, and if you think about it, I think that's like 4,500 points just from one 30-second kill streak. Now that is absolutely ridiculous. So 8 kills is just not enough in my opinion. So yeah, that's why I use Animus hack. Now as we run the game down, I just want to say that I have had fun here and there playing the game, and I think I've had more fun playing against low levels simply because they don't use smoke bomb and I don't use smoke bomb, so that's why I liked playing against low levels. It was never a case of that they don't really know what they're doing, because let's face it, there are low levels out there that do know what they're doing, and you can't always discount a low level as not knowing what they're doing just because of their level. You know, they could be a really good player on a secondary account, because let's face it, we've seen a whole bunch of those as well. But as I killed Bieber in my final Assassin's Creed video, fuck you Bieber, we're going to pull up the scoreboard and see my final scores. Scores on the doors. I think it's 15,250. Yes, I was right. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is not my best score in Deathmatch. My best score is actually 16,800. As you can see right here, well, I didn't actually record this game. I was playing while not recording, and I got this, but I decided to go back in and record the previous session's results because I thought that it would be cool. Now this final screen, you're seeing my Abstergo ladder rank, and despite the bullshit that the developers introduced with the Abstergo ladder, I did actually achieve the highest level of 92. But because I didn't stay in the top 100 for 4 days, my relic did not unlock, even though it says reach legendary Abstergo grade, which I did. As you can clearly see, I'm level 92. I thought I would just chuck this in there to show you that I did actually achieve that. But as we're looking at a black screen, I should wind this video down. I want to say thanks for watching all my AC3 videos. Goodbye AC3, hello AC4. And I'll catch you later, YouTube.